All right, let's talk about a word you've probably heard a million times, blockchain. But what is it really? Behind all the hype, there's this genuinely revolutionary idea about trust. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to unfold it piece by piece. Okay, so let's just start with the most basic question, right? Think about it. How do we actually trust and transact with total strangers online? I mean, how can you send something valuable to someone and know for sure they'll get it without some big bank or a giant tech company sitting in the middle, playing referee? That is the fundamental problem that blockchain was designed to solve. So at its absolute heart, a blockchain is really just a database, a ledger. But here's the twist. The thing that makes it so special, instead of being stored in one place, like on a company's single server, it's copied and shared, we call it distributed, across thousands, maybe millions of computers. And believe me, that one little difference, it changes absolutely everything. Okay, so how on earth does a shared database create trust? Well, the real magic is in the chain part of blockchain. It's all about how those blocks are connected. Let's walk through how this works, step by step. First, you request a transaction. Simple enough. Then, that request gets broadcast out to this huge peer-to-peer network of computers. We call them nodes. Then, all those nodes get to work, using algorithms to check and validate your transaction, making sure everything is legit. Once it's approved, it gets bundled up with a bunch of other transactions to create a new block of data. And finally, this is the crucial part. That new block gets cryptographically locked onto the previous block, creating this permanent, unalterable chain. Okay, now this is where the security gets really clever. Each one of those blocks is sealed with a totally unique digital fingerprint. It's called a hash. And here's the key. The hash of a new block is mathematically tied to the hash of the block before it. So what happens if someone tries to go back and change something? Well, the hash would instantly change, which would set off a chain reaction and visibly break the entire chain for everyone to see. It's basically like a digital tripwire. So you might be wondering, could I cheat the system? Well, to do that, you would need to control more than 50% of all the computers in the entire network, all at the exact same time, just to force through a single fake transaction. We're talking about a level of computing power that, especially for a big network like Bitcoin, is pretty much impossible to pull off. Right, so this all started with Bitcoin, with digital money. But the potential here, it goes way, way beyond just currency. Let's take a look at how this whole thing has evolved. And the evolution has been, wow, it's been fast. You had Generation 1, back in 2009. That was Bitcoin. The blockchain was basically just a public ledger for a new kind of money. But then came Gen 2, and this was the real game changer. In 2015, Ethereum showed up and introduced something called smart contracts. And that turned the blockchain from a simple record book into a programmable global computer. Now we're in Gen 3, where projects are tackling the next big challenges, things like speed, scalability, and energy use, getting it ready for prime time. So what in the world is a smart contract? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a high-tech vending machine. You put your money in, you press the button, and as long as those conditions are met, the machine automatically executes the deal and gives you your candy bar, right? No cashier, no middleman. A smart contract is exactly that, but it's built with code on the blockchain. It's basically a self-executing agreement that just runs itself. And this really gets to the core of it, because the rules of the agreement are just lines of code running on that huge shared network. There's nobody who can step in and change the terms or stop it from happening. The agreement literally enforces itself. It's led to this famous saying in the space, code is law. So this ability to automate trust with code, it isn't just some neat little feature. No, it's a fundamental building block for what could be the next version of the entire internet. Think about the internet we use every day. That's Web 2.0. It's all built on these huge centralized platforms. The big social media and tech companies that own and control all of our data. Well, the whole vision for Web 3.0 is a massive shift away from that. It's about a decentralized web where we, the users, don't just use the platforms. We actually own our data, our digital identities, our digital stuff, and we can take it all with us wherever we go. And maybe this is the most powerful way to think about the whole thing. The original web, what it did for information, it made sharing it basically free and instant. Well, the goal of the blockchain is to do the exact same thing, but for value. Imagine sending money, or the title to your car, or even casting a vote as easily and as directly as you send an email. That's the goal. So, As you can see, this is so much more than just a tech upgrade. This is a fundamental shift in how we can organize ourselves, as a society, as a species, really. When you can create trust programmatically, it clearly changes how we can work together. We can move from this world of closed-off, competing organizations to one where entire industries can collaborate on a shared system. Just imagine a global supply chain, for example. The farmer, the shipper, the customs agent, the grocery store. What if they all shared one single, trusted, unchangeable record of a product's journey from farm to table? Think about it. All the friction, the paperwork, the redundancy, the arguments, a huge chunk of that could just vanish. And that really brings us to the biggest takeaway here. You see, blockchain isn't really an information technology like the internet was. It's an institutional technology. It's a brand new toolbox for redesigning the very institutions our society is built on, things like finance, property, even how we vote and govern ourselves. So that leaves us with one last and I think pretty profound question. Trust. It's the invisible glue holding our world together. Our economy, our laws, our relationships, everything. And if we now have a brand new way to design it, to code it, to bake it right into our systems, well, what else can we redesign?